In a previous video, we started with the basics of CUDA and went over how to create some sort of image like this with CUDA kernels. In this video, I want to go over this idea of grid, block, and thread. When you create a CUDA program, you have to figure out how you want to construct parallelism for a specific kernel. The general building blocks for this are thread. This is kind of the core thing where you actually run the specific part. So in this case, if I was trying to color a specific pixel, that operation will be done inside of a thread. The way that you can specify how the threads are located on the GPU, you can use grids and blocks. It's like GPT, except replace the P with a B. So that's a simple little acronym for you: grid, block, thread. And in this video, I kind of want to go over how this is constructed and specifically why you need to, if you're creating a grid and block size, you also have to do this like extra little bit of math where you add the block size, subtract 1, and then divide the block size. Like, it's a little interesting, so I just want to go over what this is. But in order to understand this, let's first think about the simplest way that we can create an approach to run this program. If I wanted to create a CUDA kernel, right now we're just thinking about the grid size and the block size, right? The simplest way to run this would be to create a block size of 1 by 1, meaning that 1 times 1 is 1. So the block's going to have one thread inside of it, and the grid is going to have this times this amount of blocks. So in this example, we would just have a block with just one thread, and then the grid itself would be the size of this image going all the way from left to right and top to bottom. And if we go to this function, we're using the block ID and the thread ID to actually calculate the X and Y coordinates of the pixel that we're trying to color. Turns out that this is not really like the optimal way to do it, because the way that you construct the block size and the grid size is actually dependent on the problem that you're trying to solve, but it also depends on the GPU's architecture. And essentially, like, it's not clear to me what is the actual optimal way to do it, but obviously creating blocks of 1 by 1 thread, I can kind of just imagine that is redundant. NVIDIA actually suggests using 32 by 32 because reasons, I guess, but in this case, let's do 16 by 16. So we've got a block size of 16 by 16, and of course that means that we have to update our grid size now, because a block is going to contain 256 threads, right? 16 times 16 is 256. If the X width of the block has, let's just say, 16 threads, the total number of blocks that you need to create is width divided by block size.x. So if the width is 400, we actually want to only construct 400 divided by 16, or 25, because each block on the x-axis is going to have 16 threads. 16 times the result of this, which is 25, is going to equal 400. So essentially we are still going through the entire size of this image, except we've essentially constructed the architecture of this kernel in a different way. That's what the grid, block, and thread, the GBT, essentially means, is how do you construct the way that CUDA runs the program. While this is the simplest way to do it, and this is a little bit better, it's actually not the most safe way to do it. And what do I mean by this? Let's take a look. The safest way to construct something like this is to actually use this approach. And in order to understand why this is the safest approach, we have to go up to our problem, right? In this case, we've got a 400 by 400 texture that we're creating. And it just so happens to be that 16 divides 400 perfectly. But in many cases, that may not be true. Maybe you're creating an image that's, let's just say, 450 by 450. What do you do in this case? Because in this case, right, this is integer division, by the way. So if you do, 450 divided by block size.x, you're not going to fill out the entire image, and the resulting image is going to be completely incorrect. So that's why you're going to want to do something like this. Let's take a simple case where we've got 415 as the X width on this image. Well, what does this operation do? Add 16 to this value and then subtract 1. This is going to be 430, and divide this value by 16. Because it's integer division, you're going to get 26. 432 would be 27, but 430 is 26. So what this says is create a grid size of 26 by 26 blocks. That's obviously going to be more than what what you need. You're actually creating 26 times 16 threads, because each block is going to have 16 on the x-axis, and we're just talking about the x-axis here, right? So we've got 16 times 26 equals 416. So what that means is, in order to solve this problem where you're trying to create an image of 415, you're actually creating 416 threads on the x-axis. That's what these two together are saying, is create just a little bit more threads than you exactly need. And that's also why, if you go to the kernel, we often have to write code that looks like this. It's a return early statement, and you're going to see it right here. This is often the case where if you're creating a kernel, right, and you're calculating the XYZ coordinates, you need to make sure that the X and the Y do not exceed the width and the height. If I were to summarize, the GPT is kind of like the core way to send code to the GPU. Each problem can have a different way of structuring it, as well as like certain GPUs have certain limits on the number of blocks and the number of threads that you can use. The first thing is that you want to ensure that it works with your problem. This is probably something that you, who is the programmer, will know how to construct, because every problem might have a different case. If you're doing matrix multiplication, if you're doing a 1D versus a 2D versus a 3D matrix multiplication, you can imagine that the block sizes might have to be different and also optimized to the actual GPU that you're using. The second thing is that ensure that you run more threads than necessary, and inside of the kernel itself, you want to make sure that you return early in the case that the XY coordinate for this image, for example, is out of the bounds. Just writing one by one is like maybe the simplest way. Maybe you're just starting out, you could do it this way, but oftentimes the code that you write is going to look something along the lines of this right here, where you do like width plus block size divided by block size, something like this. That's just what I want to go over, mainly because I personally always found it confusing why you're creating more threads than necessary, because if they're less than, then you have some artifacts at the end. Anyway, if you made it this far, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more random C++, CUDA, GPU deep dives. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.